example, about having high cholesterol and all the various things that a doctor could say. And I don't think, like, anybody wants to remove doctors from, liability or any kind of professional sanction for giving utterly wrong medical advice just because the giving of that advice involves words, right? So if the doctor said you can lower your cholesterol by going out and eating dessert every meal, we would think that was like not a good thing for a doctor to say, and we wouldn't say, oh, the First Amendment has something to do with this. But I guess I have this feeling that that's a different kind of case, that is a case where the speech is incidental to whatever conduct it is that the doctor is offering. Whether it's, you should take this pill, or you should do these eating practices, or so forth and so on. And are you saying that there's no distinction between what we're dealing with here and the range of things that a doctor can tell you in her office about what kind of care is appropriate for any particular condition?
I don't think there's any distinction, because just like in the medical field, counseling is an evidence-based practice that petitioner trained for thousands of hours to be qualified to do. And her advice and counseling therapies, through her words, can be extremely harmful. And so there is no difference between that and the medical context. And I wanted to come back to the first part of your question about calling out a specific practice that violates the standard of care. This is a thing that legislatures do not irregularly. When you have a practice that, although it's ineffective or although it's harmful, it persists anyway. So for example, in Colorado, there's a specific provision that says it's unprofessional conduct for medical doctors to prescribe anabolic steroids for sports performance. Now, normally something like that might die out, but you can understand why there are cultural pressures that make this continue to be interesting to people, even when they know there's harm. And this has been the problem with conversion therapy. Although every theory that it's relied on has been debunked and debunked and debunked, people continue to seek it and to want it and to believe that they can make this change. And I think that's understandable. It's a challenge to find out that you're a gay or transgender person. And then finally, to the issue of regulating a specific practice, we cited you a couple of cases about this false memory recovery. So there was a practice going on with psychotherapists in the 1990s where they were using a therapy that was causing children to come up with false memories of sexual abuse. And there were several malpractice cases about it. That therapy died out on its own. But if it hadn't, and therapists had continued to do it, and again, it was done only with words, surely a state could step in and say, that's unprofessional conduct. And that's exactly what Colorado and 25 other states have done here.
Thank you.